Hello and welcome to Smart Coach. In today's class, we are going to talk about Gupta literature. So, let me write down the heading. So, you all must have heard that Gupta period is known as the golden period of India. Now, you must have thought also why it is called the golden period of Indian history. Obviously, there was economic boom, so maybe gold is associated with prosperity, and that's why it is associated with the golden period of history, or Gupta period is known as golden period of history. But it was not only economic growth that came during the Gupta period. It was also the colonial conquest that Samudragupta made, and the how Guptas were able to unite the fragmented Indian community, which was fragmented in the pre-Gupta era into small dynasties. They brought the whole community together, or the whole Indian territories together, and they establish a centralized administration which obviously helped in the flourishment of a homogeneous culture throughout India. So, when we talk about culture, whatever culture you know about today, like if we talk about Hinduism, the kind of Hinduism that we follow today has been actually a gift of Guptas to us. Then the kind of language, that is Sanskrit, the classical Sanskrit that we study today, has been the gift of Guptas to us from that era. Not only that, the literature, the enormous literature of ancient Indian history has massively come from Gupta period. The Puranas, which give us the genealogy of the kings and the later literary culture that followed after Guptas, actually got the foundation during Gupta period. So, you can understand there was enormous achievement in all the sector, but the most important sector was literature. Why? Why literature was the most important sector? Because most probably the scholars of that era got patronage from the Guptas in a way where Sanskrit flourished as the court language, where Sanskrit was studied, and great authors like Kalidas came into forefront. So, let's talk about Gupta era literature, but before that, I will have to mention the features of this era literature. So, when we talk about features of Gupta era literature, let me write down here. The first thing that you will notice is the revival of Sanskrit. So, during Gupta era, Sanskrit got regenerated. Now, before Guptas came, during the time of Ashoka, the Pali language got prominence, and Ashoka inscribed his own inscription not in Sanskrit. Sanskrit was not used in his inscription. Today, the Vedic Sanskrit, as we say it, the Sanskrit in which Rigveda was written is lost. That is known as archaic cryptic Sanskrit. But then with coming of, now let's talk from the beginning. First, Rigvedic Sanskrit came. Obviously, Vedic religion in the later Vedic age took a turn, and it became more ritualistic, more cumbersome. Obviously, by 600 BC, we see the coming of new philosophies, and the monarchs readily accepted these new philosophies like Buddhism and Jainism, and the language in which Buddhism and Jainism were propagated, Pali and Prakrit, came into the forefront. Obviously, monarchs also adopted Pali and Prakrit as their language so that they could easily communicate with the people. No wonder Sanskrit took a setback. Till the time of Kanishka, we see that Sanskrit did not get the kind of attention it should have got, and this was the result why Sanskrit, the archaic Sanskrit, almost got lost. But during Gupta period, we see that Guptas gave patronage to this language Sanskrit, and a new form of Sanskrit evolved, which was very much friendly, which was user friendly, I would say. People understood it, the language which became the mother language of most of the dialects of India. So this is the reason why Gupta age is known as golden age, because as I told you, we have lot to take, we took a lot from Gupta era, and there was lot of influence that Gupta era had created in the Indian way of life, Indian culture and art. So revival of Sanskrit was one of the foremost feature of that era literature. Now second point that I must mention here is that not only Sanskrit got revived, but literature was created in various genre. So different genre of literature was introduced. So when we say the genre of literature, what does it mean? It means, genre means the style of literature. So we see the growth of prose in the writing of writers like Dandin. He created prose. Not only that, we see the growth of poetry and drama in the work of Kalidasa. And especially when we talk about drama, we have Vishakha Datta, we have folk tales. Now folk tales also got leverage during this time, and Sanskrit literature took took a turn, and they included these small bedtime stories in Panchatantra, where moral and ethical stories were demonstrated through the stories of animal. Today if you see, Panchatantra could be seen as the mother of animated stories that we watch. The Disney and Pixel, they are creating animated stories. But long time back, a writer such as Vishnu Sharma thought that we can imbibe moral values among people by taking example from real life, and we can incorporate these animals as character of the story, and we can give normative values to the people. So these folk tales and these stories were also written during Gupta period. Then we have literature on law based literature, which is more scholarly. Now we had Dharma Shastras and Smritis such as Yajnavalkya Smriti, Brihaspati Smriti, which talk about the legal code of conduct, criminal law, civil law of the society. We had scholarly work on astronomy and mathematics. So we have writers like Aryabhatta, who gave his Surya Siddhanta, and he propagated that earth rotates around sun. Then we had philosophy, which was also taken into account by writers like Vyasa and Vatsayana. So philosophical writing were also part of the theme. So they were writing on various genres. We also read about people of writers like Dhanvantari, who wrote about medical science. So medicine also came into forefront, and life science also came into forefront, and writers wrote about medicine as well. So as far as genre is concerned, there were innumerable genre which was touched, and innumerable subject which were touched. So these are the genres, and along with that we have innumerable subject or themes like mathematics, philosophy, medicine, poetry, literature, everything. Now another important aspect of these literary work were that they were written in both there were literature of both the nature. They were religious literature as well as secular literature. So we have religious literature being created, and at the same time secular literature did not take a step back, but secular literature also developed. So I have already mentioned that when we talk about Kalidasa, he was writing secular literature, but at the same time there were many writings of his which had the religious overtone. Similarly, when we talk about Vishakha Datta, he wrote secular literature and he wrote two dramas, Devi Chandraguptam and he wrote Mudra Rakshasa. These two dramas dealt with two different phases of Indian history. Mudra Rakshasa talked about Mauryas, how Chandragupta Maurya came into the reign, whereas Devi Chandraguptam was on Chandragupta II, the Gupta ruler. So themes were varied. At the same time, when we look into the religious literature, we find Puranas and Upapuranas. They are very important, because when we talk about religious literature, let me write, Puranas are very important religious literature which were created, and Upapuranas because they not only, let me just write the name first. They not only provided religious information, but Puranas gave us the genealogy of these kings. Many kings like Chandragupta Maurya and the Gupta king, we come to know about their genealogy by reading the Purana, and we are able to formulate a timeline of history by reading these Puranas. Whenever the names that we see in Puranas and when we see historical evidence supporting those names, at least we are able to reconstruct the history with the help of these Puranas. But at the most important aspect of these Puranas were, there were 18 Puranas which provided Vedic knowledge in a more tangible manner to the common masses. Vedic knowledge was offered in a much more easier way to the common people, because they would not have understood this Vedas. Puranas dealt with three important aspects of Hinduism. First is Vaishnavism, who is Vishnu, Vaishnavism, how he is the Lord of the universe, the creator, the protector. Next was about Brahma, which speaks about the creation of universe and the the law that governs the universe. And third was about Shaivism, which also in some form speaks about how Shaivism, it is vism, there has been a spelling mistake. So Shaivism, which speaks about how universe was created and who is Lord Shiva and how he is the Lord of destruction, which results in further creation. So this is very important in Puranic knowledge. 18 Puranas are divided into these three sections, and then there are Upapuranas. Now Upapuranas were important because they provided us information regarding the subsects or lesser known cults of Indian society. We are able to form a basic idea about the social cultural tradition of those sects by studying these Upapuranas. There were certain religious cults which do not find mention in other books, but Upapuranas mention them and help us to understand history better. Now along with Upapuranas and Puranas, there were Dharmashastras and Smritis. Now Dharmashastras and Smritis are very important because they are seen as the legal book which code the Hindu law in India. Now Smritis were written by many sages like Yajnavalkya, Brihaspati, Manu, Narada. All these Smritis talked about the way individual custom and code, but at the same time they gave guidance to the ruler. Like the ruler had to be benevolent, he had to be godly, divine in his behavior. He would he would imbibe the values of forgiveness, which actually resulted in check of power of the monarch. This was very important because these Dharma Shastra, these Smritis regularly reminded the monarch that he had to work for the welfare of the people, and without that he would not have had the support of the people. And these Dharmashastras give us the idea about the current trend, customs and law of the society. One of the famous Dharma Smritis is the Yajnavalkya Smriti. Yajnavalkya Smriti, which is supposed to have laid the foundation of the Gupta law and order. So this was the literary trend and the feature of literature of Gupta period. Let me give you name of few of the important books and the writers. So now let me write the name of few of the important writers and their literary work. So first important writer will obviously be Kalidasa, because he is known as the prince of Indian literature. So Kalidasa, when we talk about Kalidasa, there are many books that he wrote. So one of the most important book will be Abhijnana Shakuntalam. It was one of the first book of Kalidasa which was translated in English in the 18th century, and it has been said to be one of the classic example of Sanskrit literature, the greatness of Sanskrit literature, the lucidity in which the human sentiment has been presented with the description of nature is beautiful, and that's why Abhijnana Shakuntalam is one of the foremost work of Kalidasa. Along with that, we have books like Meghaduta, Malavika Agnimitram, Ritu Samhara, then we have Raghuvansham, and Kumar Sambhava. Now, other than Kalidasa, one of the important dramatists of this time was obviously Vishakhadatta. When we talk about Mauryan age, we talk about Vishakhadatta, because if you remember, I had mentioned that Vishakhadatta names Chandragupta Maurya as Vrishala, and it was Vishakhadatta's drama Mudra Rakshasa which suggests that Chandragupta Maurya was not a Brahmin or neither a Kshatriya. Mudra Rakshasa. Then there is another drama that he had written is Devi Chandraguptam. Okay. Now, after Vishakhadatta, the next important writer is Shudraka. So, about Shudraka, we don't know much, but it is said that he was actually a prince who got disillusioned by court politics, and then he thought to write his drama known as Mrichakatika. Mrichakatika is a very interesting Mrichakatika. Now, Mrichakatika is a very interesting drama, because for the first time we see the court politics and how materialism was seeping into the life of the Gupta period. Now, these are basically the literary work, but as I told you, there were various genre of work. Now, another genre of work was given by Vishnu Sharma. Now, Vishnu Sharma is important because he wrote Panchatantra. And he wrote Panchatantra. Along with this, we have many philosophical work. Now, when we talk about philosophical work, Vyasa is one of the most important philosopher of Indian philosophical thought, and Vyasa wrote his Vyasa Bhashya. Vyasa wrote his Vyasa Bhashya. Then we also have Vatsayana. Vatsayana is actually known for many literary work, but Vatsayana also wrote an interesting work called Nyaya Bhashya. And his important work is, I will write in another pen, Nyaya Bhashya. Along with this, we have the scientists who wrote about the sky and space and cosmos, and one of the most important mathematician was Aryabhatta. So, let me write his name, Aryabhatta. He wrote Surya Siddhanta. And along with Aryabhatta, another important mathematician of that time was Varahamihira. He wrote Pancha Siddhanta. Now, I have mentioned most of the important writers. Another important writer whom I must mention is Bhartrihari. Bhartrihari. He is a great philosopher who wrote three Sataka. In his book Sataka, he talks about love, he talks about administrative policy, and then he mentions renunciation. So, these three important aspects of life have been described by him in his work. So, if you can see, all these writers had given their literature in varied subject, and as such Gupta period was one of the richest period as far as literature is concerned in Indian history, and even today we are studying them and trying to understand the culture. Not only culture, we are also trying to understand about universe, cosmos, creation and much more. So, I hope this class was helpful for you. I will meet you in another class with another topic of ancient Indian history.